If you're a manager, you've probably heard it a million times by now. AI is coming, and it's coming for your job. But what if I told you that's not the real story? Let's get into it, because what's actually happening is way more interesting and, frankly, a lot more fixable. I mean, this is the headline that grabs you, right? It's everywhere. And the fear is totally understandable. The logic seems pretty straightforward. If AI makes your team way more efficient and automates some of what they do, well, who are you going to manage? It's a question that's definitely keeping people up at night. Okay, here's the twist. We've been staring so hard at the shiny new technology that we've completely missed the point. What if AI isn't the enemy here? What if it's just a giant, powerful spotlight, showing us all the cracks that were already in our systems to begin with? So here's what's really changing. As AI starts to handle the routine, repetitive stuff, teams are naturally going to get smaller, leaner, more specialized. And that means your job, well, it changes. It's not going to be enough to just delegate tasks and check in. You're going to have to be right there in the trenches, a hands-on contributor with multiple skills. And this right here is the real danger. If your team's processes are kind of fuzzy, if nobody's really sure who owns what, if all the important steps are just stuck in a few people's heads, AI isn't going to fix that for you. No way. It's just going to take all that confusion and amplify it. It'll make the same mistakes your team makes, but it'll do it 1,000 times faster. It's going to turn those little cracks into absolute canyons. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. You can actually get out ahead of this. So think of what we're about to do, not as some scary test, but as your own personal early warning system. It's just a simple diagnostic to help you see exactly where your team is solid and where you might be a little exposed, so you can start making fixes now on your own terms.
All right, let's dive into the core of this diagnostic tool. We're going to walk through 4 really simple but really powerful questions that pretty much every manager should be asking themselves right about now.
So, question number 1. This one gets right to the heart of how things get done day to day.
Are your instructions clear enough for anyone to follow? And I mean anyone. See, we humans are amazing at filling in the gaps. We can read between the lines, we can guess what someone meant, but an AI, it can't do that. It needs crystal clear, step-by-step instructions. If your process includes a step that says, use your best judgment, you've got a problem.
Does that sound familiar at all? If the only way a new person can learn a task is by literally watching over someone's shoulder all day, that is a massive red flag. It tells you that you don't really have a process. You have a habit that just lives inside one person's brain.
Let me give you a real-world example of how this goes wrong. Imagine you tell a new hire, hey, upload this file to the system. The instructions just say, tag it correctly and save it in the right folder. Okay, but which version of the file? What are the correct tags? Which of these 100 folders is the right one? The new hire gets confused, probably makes a mistake. An AI would be totally paralyzed, or worse, start filing things incorrectly at lightning speed.
All right, on to question number 2. This one is all about accountability.
Do you know who owns each process, from the very beginning to the very end? When something breaks, who is the one single person whose job it is to fix it? If your answer is, well, it's kind of the whole team, then you've got a weak spot. An AI needs a clear chain of command. It can't go around tapping 3 different people on the shoulder trying to get an answer.
Oh, we've all heard this one, haven't we? Shared responsibility. It sounds so collaborative and wonderful, but what it usually means is no responsibility. It's just a recipe for important things to fall through the cracks.
So let's say an urgent contract goes missing. Who was supposed to upload it? Was it the project manager? The admin? The legal team? While everyone's busy pointing fingers, the client is just waiting. Because there wasn't one single owner, the ball got dropped. An AI trying to execute this process would have no one to alert, and the problem would just fester.
Okay, question number 3. This one is about sorting your team's workload into 2 different piles.
Which of your team's tasks are repeatable and which ones are creative? You've got to know this. It is absolutely critical. You have to understand what work is just routine, predictable stuff versus what needs actual human brain power. AI is a rock star at repeatable tasks, but it's pretty terrible at creative problem solving and navigating tricky human emotions. Think of it this way. AI is perfect for things like cranking out weekly reports, mind-numbing data entry, or scheduling a million meetings. That's its sweet spot. But when you have to negotiate a tough deal, solve a problem nobody saw coming, or build real trust with a teammate, that
that needs a human. Every time.
Let's take a product launch. You can totally have an AI pull together all the data and generate the weekly progress report. No problem. But then, bam, your main vendor misses a critical delivery and the entire launch is at risk. An AI can't fix that. It can't get on the phone, read the person's tone, and negotiate a creative solution to save the day. That takes a person.
And that leads us perfectly to our fourth and final question. And honestly, this might be the ultimate litmus test for how ready your team really is.
Could a brand new person on your team be successful without having to follow someone around for weeks? Be really honest with yourself. If you went on vacation for a month, could a new hire come in, read your documentation, and actually get their job done? An AI is basically that permanent new hire. It can't learn by osmosis. It needs the playbook.
This is the classic sign of what we call tribal knowledge. All that critical information that only exists in the heads of your most experienced people. It might seem efficient for them, but for the team, it is a huge risk. And it makes automating anything basically impossible. Here's a perfect, simple example. A new coordinator is told to schedule trainings. The official process just says book rooms and send invites. But it fails to mention the unwritten rules, like how one manager hates a certain conference room, or that the department head always has to be CC'd. The new person makes a bunch of mistakes, not because they're bad at their job, but because the real process was never written down. An AI would make those exact same mistakes over and over again. So let's wrap this all up. What's the big takeaway? It's that you don't need to go out and become a coding expert or an AI guru. That's not your job. Your real job is to become a master of clarity, to become the kind of manager who builds processes that are so clear, so strong, and so well documented that anyone or anything can follow them and succeed. And that leaves us with just one final question for you to think about. You've now seen how these small, messy process gaps can cause some pretty big problems down the line. So the choice is really yours. Are you going to start fixing those little cracks now while you still can? Or are you going to wait for the pressure of AI to come along and turn them into giant, catastrophic sinkholes? What's it going to be?